It's 2 o'clock, yet another Tuesday. Welcome to Generation C. I am Jamie Lee Loss. This show is aimed at empowering the youth through our 3 segments: The Zone, School Corner, and Varsity Chat Room. Generation C is the show that recaps on The Zone, giving you reason why it's the best read on a Tuesday. The Zone is published in the Namibian Sun, Republican, and Algemeine Zeitung. As you can see on the screen, this is the picture of our week that we got from the Windhoek Gymnasium Matriek Farewell. Today is Hug Your Boss Day, so do make sure to hug your boss. Today in studio, we're joined by a very special guest, but before we get into that interview, let's take a look at this week's publication. On page 1, we have Erika Kadombaruru, who was crowned as the Beauty of Africa International. She was also on our show last week, and she's such an inspirational young lady because she's part of the Keep a Girl in School project that provides beds for girls. Now we head over to page 2. On page 2, we have an article written by Esther Kamati about the drive-through that was organized by Nantu for all the teachers and staff that lost their lives due to COVID. And then we have Vox Pop, where we asked the learners from Gabriel Tapopi Secondary School in Ogwadiva what their views are on the government changing the calendar. Stay tuned for the videos.
I believe that 2 semesters mean that there is less time for holidays, which means that learners will not become accustomed to the state of relaxation, and they'll actually pay more attention to their academics. And yeah, it's a good thing.
During this pandemic situation, it's very, very crucial that we only have 2 terms now, as concentration is more needed on the secondary schools, since we have so many holidays, out weekend, midterm breaks, which has been reduced to only 2 semesters now, which will help teachers and learners to focus on their schoolwork and hook up with their books.
2 terms. We shouldn't follow the 2 semester terms because it does not leave room for improvement. Since we only write 1 term mid-year and then the other term at the end of the year, it doesn't leave room for improvement. We're used to the 3 terms where the first term, if you fail, you have an opportunity to come pass in the second term. Or if you didn't do that in the second term, you have the third term. Now, if we only have 2 semesters, how can we know that we really improved? You don't actually lead the people to pass.
Right. What I think is the 2 semesters are going to work actually, because in the sense of that the COVID pandemic has caused many problems for the learners, and the fact that most of them cannot get vaccinated means that it will spread more rapidly, as more of them will be going home. If it was 3 terms, they'll be going home and going back to school. But now that is only 2. They can stay put, and it will curb the spread of the virus, I think.
That season comes and goes. The winter will subside and give way to the summer. Surely, as the night gives way to day, so shall our sorrow give way to joy. We will not forget, but we will cherish and celebrate the memories of our fallen compatriots and what they stood for: the educating of the Namibian child, the rearing and the guidance of these young minds to fertile grounds of self-actualization. Indeed, a noble profession, indeed a noble calling that call upon one to give of yourself beyond the parameters of duty.
Sending love and strength to all the families that were affected by these COVID deaths. But let's move on to page 5. On page 5, we have an article by Maricel Stoffberg and Janet Diergaard on fighting procrastination and managing time. As a student, it is very important to manage your time as it will result in success. On page 6, we have the 17 athletes that are going to Serbia. 6 of them are going for chess and the 11 are going for different sport codes. On page 7, we have an article by Johanan Kutsia on our educational booklet project. It talks about how educational project came to life through visual media. And secondly, we have Star Teacher of the Week, Vieno Dumba, a junior primary phase teacher at Konjo Senior Primary School. Stay tuned as she talks about her experience.
My name is Mrs. Ndumba Vieno Masora Kasiku, a teacher at the Konjo Senior Primary School in Kavango West region. I am responsible for grade 3C for junior primary phase.
Fire edition of The Zone right there. I hope you guys grabbed your own copies. Now let's head on over to the interview. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Today in studio, we're joined by the beautiful Tuilika Andreas. She's a full-time medical student and a model. She's also the co-founder of Purposeful Camp Namibia and Dear Girl Namibia. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing amazing.
Thank you for that introduction.
Pleasure. So can you tell us briefly about yourself?
Okay, so apart from being a full-time medical student, doing my 3rd year now, I am also involved in activism, which means uplifting young people around me from my point of view. I am from the coastal town of Namibia, Walvis Bay, where I completed my grade 12, and currently I reside at the University of Namibia, Hage Geingob campus.
Okay. You mentioned something about activism. Can you tell us exactly what you do?
Okay, so as you mentioned, I am a co-founder of Dear Girl Namibia and Purposeful Camp Namibia. These two organizations both sort of have the same aim, which is entirely to uplift and to just inspire young people and create a sense of purpose and belonging within them. So basically my activism is really centered around giving young people the need to access information and the need to build themselves into better versions.
That's quite empowering. So what exactly motivated you to start Dear Girl Namibia?
Okay, so Dear Girl Namibia, the vision behind it started way back when I was a little girl. My sister and I would sit at the village and just discuss our dreams, our passions, and we realized that there's really a huge gap between the girl child and the boy child, particularly in terms of access to education, sanitation, and basic needs. And this is really because the girl child requires more of these things, specifically now in terms of sanitation. And we noticed that there are certain young people or certain community members that need to spearhead organizations and platforms that advocate for young women and girls countrywide. So we decided that it's about time, that we use our resources, our knowledge, our expertise to basically give off to other young women within the country.
What exactly do you do at the Purposeful Camp Namibia?
Okay, so Purposeful Camp Namibia, as the name implies, Purposeful Camp, it is a camp that inspires to create a sense of purpose within young people. As we all know, we all really have a purpose. We came here for a reason, and every day we live, we basically live out that purpose. So at Purposeful Camp Namibia, we train on particular topics which we noticed are lacking in the current education system, and that is leadership, financial literacy and entrepreneurship, personal development and public speaking skills. So we saw that these 4 pillars lack so much in young people, such that even when a young person actually goes for an interview or job applications, they fail to actually fill in properly or articulate themselves properly to actually get the position that they wish. So at Purposeful Camp Namibia, we just wish to see young people have more and embody more of these characteristics.
I definitely love this idea. But I wanted to know, for everyone who wants to be part of the Purposeful Camp Namibia and the girl, Dear Girl Namibia, what exactly do you have to do?
So for Purposeful Camp Namibia, okay, for both organizations, we don't necessarily recruit members, but we are a platform for the members. So for Purposeful Camp, you basically apply to be part of the camp, which takes place annually at different resorts and lodges across the country. So you applying and you participating in the camp eventually makes you an alumni, and from becoming an alumni, we then see if there are certain attributes that you have that we can actually utilize in our organization. For Dear Girl Namibia, it's quite similar. We don't necessarily recruit, but we provide platforms where young women and girls can participate in. For instance, our very newly launched project called Phenomenally You, where young women can basically be equipped to come up with social entrepreneurial projects or businesses that they have in mind.
That is amazing. Well, I also wanted to ask, since you are a student and you are co-founder of these two organizations, and not only that, but you're also a model, how do you balance all of that?
Well, that's a very common question that I get a lot. And I think really it's not really a matter of balance, but it's more of a matter of navigating importance and urgency. So I've noticed that it's a matter of priorities. So for me, really, my education comes first. That serves as priority. So above everything else and above all the other activities that I'm part of, I try to ensure that I put my education first. And that means now really boiling down to the nitty-gritties of my days, making sure that I know exactly what's happening at every single hour of my day for most of the time. Because when you don't know, it creates so much uncertainty and doubt, and that is where procrastination and laziness comes in. So really the concept of balancing boils down to really just knowing how to manage your time well and just plan effectively.
I definitely agree with that. I'm also a student and you are a student, and I'm pretty sure there are other students that are going through it. So
Yes.
what advice would you give to us students?
Okay, so what advice would I give? I think the best advice I would give now is to just live consciously. You know, a lot of young people, including myself, we actually sleepwalk through life. I say this because it seems as though we wake up and do things unconsciously that we don't know we're actually doing because of the habits that we've cultivated that are actually going against the person we envision ourselves to be. So instead of sleepwalking through life, you know, sit down with yourself and plan well, strategize, and just think about how you can actually tackle a particular subject, a particular topic, or a particular area in your life, and just try to navigate what matters most to you. Because at the end of the day, that is what helps you be a better person and succeed.
Thank you so much for all that advice. Even I needed to hear it. But it was such an honor having you in studio today. Thank you for joining us. And next up, we have the School Corner.
Thank you so much.
Wow, what an interesting interview there with Tuilika. And now it's time for our School Corner segment. My name is Sirka Mujanima. I'm in grade 10, and with me in studio,
Lydia Kunyenga in grade 9, and we are part of the Hage Geingob High School team editorial.
Our publication for today, we have the Hage Times, and on our front cover we have
School resumes full time. Hage Geingob High School has adopted a rotational day whereby learners were divided into two groups, one day come and another off. The rotational school day was hard for teachers and learners to adapt, and this is why school resumed full time. We also share with you the Youth for Christ. This is a Bible study group that cares more about engaging youth with Christ, for it is written in the book of Ecclesiastes, remember your Creator in the days of your youth. Stay tuned to watch the video.
Wow, what an interesting video from Hage Times. And now we come to Moria Times. On their front page, we talk about the community of the Ocho that is helping the people that were badly affected with COVID-19 with necessary support and needs.
And now we also share with you information from the south. The Al Nathan Private School has continued with their online learning, and they just currently resumed with their face-to-face classes. Stay tuned for their video as they share with you on their first day of school.
Hallo almal, ek is Lyn Fourie van Privaatskool Nathan en ek is graad 7. Ek is baie bly om terug by die skool te wees want al my vriende is hierso en ons speel weer lekker.
Hallo, my naam is Louise Marilou en ek kom van Privaatskool Nathan af. Dit is lekker om terug by die skool te wees want dit is beter om by die skool te wees want dit is makliker hierso want jy kry onderrig en jy hoef nie te sukkel met die syne of met wifi of enigiets nie.
Hallo, my naam is Lisa Kronier, ek is graad 4. Ek verkies dit meer om by die skool te wees want dan kan ek by my maats wees en juffrouens kan my help.
Hallo julle, ek is Timothy McKinnon, ek is in graad 8 en ek kom van Privaatskool Nathan af. Dit is lekker om by die skool te wees want ons kan lekker rugby speel en ons kan almal weer vir mekaar sien en partykeer stout wees en ja, dankie.
Ek is Johanna Binneman van Privaatskool Nathan. Ek is vandag saam met Morney 4 jaar, ek graad 10 leerling. Morney, hoe is dit vir jou om terug te wees by die skool?
Dit is baie lekker. Die online skool was ook lekker want daar was daar 'n pausknopie waar ek juffrou kon stop.
Ja, dit is baie lekker. Soos as ek moeg geraak het vir die stem. Pause. En wat anders kan jy sê wat lekker is buite die skool, soos jou buitemuurse aktiwiteite?
Ag, ek sien nog eens baie uit na die rugby wat voor lê en die cricket wat my 7 saai wat voor lê. Ek kyk maar hoe gaan dit gaan.
Dankie Morney.
Hi julle, ek is Tamerie van der Merwe, 'n graad 11 leerling van Privaatskool Nathan. Ek is baie bly om terug te wees by die skool, want een ding wat ek van COVID geleer het is dat tye saam met vriende fisies baie beperk is. En dat COVID so onvoorspelbaar is, maar ons bly positief.
Wow, you guys can see that learners were really happy to go back to school.
Now we share with you a video from Ojivarongo Secondary School as their head girl Daniela shares with us issues faced by youth in AS levels.
We call it education, opvoeding, Kaukas, Elongo, Omahongero. They said education is the key to success. But, Namibian teacher, did you know? Courageous Namibian teacher, did you know education is the sling you need to help defeat this Goliath called poverty? Preservant Namibian teacher, did you know education is the Moses you need to guide these learners through this wilderness called life? Wise Namibian teachers, did you know education is the rock you have to build your house on to escape the flood? In the midst of tests, AS levels, exams, due dates, education teaches us the qualities of hard work, perseverance, dedication, and courageousness. They said education is the key to success. But, Namibian teacher, did you know? Education does not give you the key to comfortably and effortlessly open the door to success. Namibian child, Namibian teacher, education gives you the qualities you need to kick down the door to success. Namibian teacher, Namibian children, success is no accident. Remember to stay above the line. I thank you.
Sirka, what a great time we had with School Corner segment. Now is the time for Varsity Chat Room.
But please don't forget to follow My Zone on all social media platforms and don't forget to subscribe to our Telegram channel.
Bye guys.
That was such an interesting school corner. Welcome back to Vasti Chat Room, the segment that focuses on all the universities from around the world. Now we take a look at page 8. We have an article by Rivaldo Kavanga on the University of Namibia that has announced that it will be reducing the number of faculties from 8 to only 4. We also have an article by Desiree Gasses that talks about being the change you want to see in the world. And in the Varsity Corner, we have an article by Mauricia Gawanas on how she explains her experience of studying in the mother city, which is Cape Town. Stay tuned for her video.
Hi guys, how are you? I'm Mauricia Gawanas and I am currently staying in Cape Town. I study architectural interior design by BAC School of Design in Cape Town, Western Cape, South Africa. How is it staying here? It's beautiful. I would not even want to move. I love Cape Town so much. Cost of living is quite high, but like there's so many things to do and it's just so diverse. You have diverse cultures, not even in South Africa, around Africa. You meet different people every day. You have interactive conversations with everyone. The scenery is beautiful. The only problem is its winter is horrible, but I am enjoying it and I don't think of any better place to stay.
That was such an inspirational video, but unfortunately all good things come to an end. From the Generation C crew and I, it's goodbye.